Oh, sorry about that. Hello, Dread Mechanic back again for part 9 of my Building a Walking Citadel build stream. Hello guys, hello Angry Drunk Possum, hello Matthew Davies. Cheers for jumping in before I even had a chance to start. That's encouraging. How are you guys doing? Today I am going to build a few more little exocraft external mechs, some little extra things. Because last time we built these ridiculous assault cannon things that work quite well. And I have since slapped on and set up the other 3. So now there's 1 on each side. Or 2 on each side, rather. And I also set up the other rail cannon, so there's 2 of them now. They work quite well. So, yeah. The drones are on timeout at the moment because the AI is starting to get on my nerves, and there's a few things I need to tweak with them, which I'm going to do later. But the next thing I wanted to do, the other stupid idea I wanted to do, was I've got all this space at the back, behind. Oh yeah, I also added, or made a start on the next set of mech bays, so there'll be 4 walkers in this one, 2 lifts. And yeah, back to what I was saying, is I've got this space at the back here, behind the mech bays, and I've got 1 back here at the... Is this the front, or is that the back? I think this is the front. Yeah, that's the front. So I'm thinking of sticking some more bays for things in here. I've put some doors in already. There's a kind of rough idea of where things are going to go. But down here, I've been working on a couple of ideas for things to fit through those doors. I'm considering some ideas for a larger bipedal walker thing, maybe. But the idea I really want to try out is I want to make like a little 6-legged APC tank type thing. More or less an APC, but with legs instead of wheels, or tank tracks. And that yellow base is actually a copy and paste of the wing drone, X-drone platforms rather, because they fit more or less perfectly through that gap there. So I'm using that as a template to work out the size of this thing, and for now I think that could be pretty good. That fits inside the footprint of that yellow bit, so that should be alright. And I just did this little bit before starting the stream, and now I'm going to continue with this. So I'm going to make a little APC tank thing with legs, and the next thing on the list to do is to sort out his basic leg controls. Will eventually need some kind of cockpit scenario, but I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet, so I'm just going to slap that there for now. So I've got a control seat to do things with. Now I want to be able to make the most of the space inside, because I want it to be able to actually house some crew. So you could come in and there'd be Have I even got that on my menu anymore? No, I haven't. So there could be some kind of roof seating in here. Oh, does that... Oh, are they... Those ones are large grid only, apparently. That's annoying. Oh yeah, it's those ones, the small benches, aren't they? So yeah, having some kind of like crew seating inside or something to carry people. And then have a cockpit and maybe a weapon on the top of it, like a little tank cannon thing. Oh, hey Matthew, what are you saying? Here you are struggling with flying drones. That thing's not a basic setup, that's very complicated. This is pretty basic. But it's in relative terms, isn't it? What one person thinks is basic, another person thinks is mind-boggling. So I'm thinking of putting the walk controls down here and then armouring them up, so I've got a fair bit of space and I've not actually built the feet on these, so I should have a decent bit of clearance on it. And yeah, I was also thinking about putting a ladder or something on the back so you could actually climb up onto the back of it. Because how far I can probably get away with extending this bit at the back out another block. And that's still inside the footprint of it, so there's we could probably have some roof access thing. Don't want to do that. Actually, I might need that to go out further. Or we could do something else about it. I'll worry about that later. Because I have got an extra block at the front, so I could even shift it a block further forward. Yeah, I'll worry about that later. Oh, so what's that, Matthew? You only got into the game 2 weeks ago. I've been amazed by the community builds in this game. Yeah, man, there's a lot of people that do a lot of strange and different things. There's quite a few different kind of groups and kind of scenes within Space Engineers as well, because you've got all the PvP guys that love to do their server wars and all of that kind of stuff. You've got all the casual, laid-back guys that just like to chill and build bases and do stuff. Then you've got the weirdos like me and a few others that like to build strange things. So yeah, there's a lot of different aspects to this game. There's quite a few little sub-communities within it. Right, that's enough for some basics. Let's get these legs working. I need... what do I need? Do we want to keep this simple, or do we want to make this complicated? That's a point. How many controls am I going to need? How am I going to do this? I need some lights on these legs to work as triggers for things, so that will do the hip rotor. That will do the knee. And that can do the foot down there. Because I have been quite enjoying playing with these double hinged or double jointed knee setups. I can't remember what the exact phrase is for that kind of leg, where it's got a double knee in it, but they work quite well, and I've been liking that idea. So even though there's two hinges there, they're going to work in unison as one motion, so they only need one control. So yeah, once we've got these lights in place, we can start building the control system for these legs. Oh, I also think I'm going to have to name a bunch of stuff as well. Yes, I do, because I've not named anything yet. And naming things is very handy when it comes to building complicated things. So, let's have a look. No, I haven't named a damn thing. That can be leg rotor, front left 01. And I'm doing all the legs the same on either side on this design. No alternating or mirrored legs or anything like the big spider. I'm doing them all in line just to see what it's like. So that means setting up these legs is going to be a lot easier. There won't be any faffing about with trying to do things in reverse for different sets of legs and having to do the maths and all that kind of nonsense. It would be nice and straightforward. So that would be leg hinge FL02. Let's call them 2A. Settings, paste. Leg hinge. What have we got? Hinge. Leg hinge FL02B. Right, because all of these legs are exactly the same, I can just copy and paste all of that and just change a few little bits. Not have to do a lot of faffing around. Right, so that's going to be that one. That's going to be middle. That one's going to be rear. And then, oh, this one's still got all the details left from the bits I copied and pasted from. So that's going to be leg hinge, front left, 03. That can be middle 3. And reverse that back where it was. That one can be rear 3. Right, so that should be the left side leg hinges done. Or named at least. Right, here we need to do leg rotor, front right 01, copy all, and again, as this is all just the same setup on either side, makes it loads easier to do this kind of stuff. That one can be rear right. Right, copy all. Copy, paste. Oh, hey, Great Noel, how you doing, man? What are you up to? That gets to be front right. 0 to A. We'll copy that onto there. That gets to be middle right. And then we'll have rear right. I'm cool, man. I am just messing around with a little APC tank type idea. I want it to be a little troop transport with a bit of weapons on it. And the way I've got these legs set up, I'm hoping that I can build in like a sort of crouch function where he can lower himself to the ground and make it a little bit easier to get into him. But we'll see what that's like when I get to that point. Right now, I'm just doing all the basics and getting all the bits set up and named. That has to be front right. Did I do them? Yes, I did. That gets to be that. So that gets to be middle right. Yeah, man. I'm hoping it'll work. I reckon it will. The biggest issue it might face is turning because it's a bit long. It's got 6 legs. But with some gyros, we can force it to move properly. I'm thinking I might give this one the vanilla gyro turning system that I've been working on, rather than just using standard gyros where you make it wiggle about with the mouse. I'm going to try and make it so you can turn left and right using the left and right controls. What else we need to do? Oh yeah, the feet. Copy all. Copy paste. That can be front right. That can be middle right. And that can be rear right. That's the one. Cool. Right. Leg lights. These are going to be the switches that make our legs move. That can be front left 0, 1. We will make that cyan like I usually do, because it's just a nice, simple and obvious colour. And I like to turn it down a little bit so it's not burning my retinas. That gets to be number 2. And that gets to be number 3. And before we do anything, I'm going to push all these out like so, because that is going to be the position the leg is in when all the lights are on. Yeah. Cool. Right, so let's name the rest of them, and then we can think about event controllers. So, middle left, copy all. Copy settings, paste, middle left 2, and middle left 3. That has to be rear left. Two, and where are we? 3. Cool. Right, so the way these are pretty much going to work is we're going to have A bunch of event controllers that look at these lights, and when the lights turn on and off, it will make the various sections of the legs move. And then we can use combinations of those lights turning on and off to make a forward control system and a reverse control system. And then we can use another event controller and a rotor and a timer to make it all move and tick over. And if we do it like that, we can kind of make our speed adjustable depending on how fast the rotor is spinning. Right, so that's all the lights for that. That needs to be pointing forward for now. That needs to be pointing down, and that needs to be pointing down. No, that back leg is in the wrong position. Right, so we've got 6 legs. We need 3 controllers for each leg to do the lights. And then we'll need more controllers to build the walk cycle. But because we've got 3 pairs of legs set up in identical ways, we might be able to condense some of the walk controls down a bit. So how do I want to do this then? I need 1, 2, 3 for each leg. How much space have I got down here? 1 in the middle, 1, 2, 3, that's the middle leg, 1, 2, 3, that's the front leg, 1, 2, 3, that's the rear leg. And then we've got a gap in the middle for timers, and walk controls and things, and a little bit of space either side. And then we could use various blocks and things to cover it up. Why am I asking for trouble putting it down there? Which is easier to build, quad or biped? Quad. Quad absolutely is easier to build. And I'll tell you why. The more legs might seem more confusing, but with more legs you don't have to worry about balance quite as much. Building something with 2 legs, you have to figure out how to get it to balance on one point of contact at a time. And this mech here, that is barely even a mech and is more just a set of legs, is a perfect example of why. Because I've only built the walk cycle for it, I've not really done anything with gyros as of yet. So, if I quickly slap on a bunch of gyroscopes, I'll just slap loads of them on for now. So, that's the biggest issue with making bipeds, is you see how wonky and janky and all over the place it kind of is. That's because there's all sorts of physics in this game going on, particularly gravity. And the gravity physics in this game are actually fairly decent. So getting bipeds to balance can be a bit of a challenge. So we got there 12, so if I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, stick them on override. We've then got some gyros to help keep us balanced, and some gyros we can use to turn. going to take another bunch of them, put them all on. So now you see it's slightly less janky with all that override on it, but he's leaning backwards now, and over he goes again. And it's because trying to balance something like that is quite tricky. And it's not the same for every kind of design and layout. You have to do a lot of experimenting with bipeds. Bipeds do absolutely have the cool factor. I am not denying that in the slightest. They definitely have the cool factor. They are just trickier to build because it's inherently a lot more difficult to balance on 2 feet than it is on 1. Let's deploy one of my little mini walkers. There we go. But yeah, when you're building bipeds, you have to do a lot of fiddling around and experimenting with ideas to get them to balance nicely. Like, for instance, this guy is only very, very small, so he only needs 3 gyroscopes. 2 of them are on overrides to try and keep him balanced, and the other one is just set to standard control, so you can turn left and right. But if you were to scale that idea up, you would have to make adjustments for it. Whereas with multi-pads, quads, hexapods, whatever you like, you can get away with far less gyro control, because you've always got at least 2 points of contact at opposite ends, which will help keep you balanced, and then the more legs you've got, the more points of contact you've got, the more balance you will maintain. Like, that thing has only got 4 gyroscopes on it to make it turn. The size of it and the span of its legs, it really doesn't need to be able to maintain balance, because it's never going to tip over something that size. So, yeah, multi-pads are inherently easier to build, just because you don't have to worry about that aspect of things. What's that? The mini walkers are lush. Just wondering how you could make walkers in vanilla. There's no mods in here, mate. The only mod in this game is there is a mod to make the hinges and rotors a bit stronger, and the only block mod is that little welder. Everything else in here is completely vanilla. Oh, there is the Edge Be Gone mod to get rid of the block edges, because I absolutely hate the block edges. But there's no block mods in here. There's no scripts. There's nothing. There's nothing in this mech that you couldn't do yourself with a bit of time and patience. He is completely and utterly vanilla. There's just DLC blocks in there. So if you see something you don't recognise, block-wise, it might just be some DLC stuff. Yes, you are right, great and all. Everything here is vanilla, except for that one block mod that I showed you. That's kind of the underlying theme of my recent streams, is doing it all super vanilla as possible, where possible. I only had to add the mod into the guns because the block tools we've got in vanilla just don't work properly for what I was trying to do. I think, should I actually put them in a more sensible place? Because I'm concerned that a rather large rock could get under there and smash the controls to pieces. How many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18. Damn. It's quite a lot. It is quite a lot. Oh, you know what? I can build out another block to protect stuff. Let's build them into the walls of the ship. Or into the walls of the mech. So then I could put the controls up front where you can see them a bit better. No, you can actually see them at all. Maybe. What's that going to be like if I do that? 1, 2, 3 is what I need. Might actually come a block back in case. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, and my stupid arse was in the way for those 3. Would mechs make... what was that? Sorry, I haven't got my glasses on. Would mechs be useful for industrial applications, i.e. mining? They can be. I mean, the problem with mechs in space engineers in general is because of the amount of faff that goes into building them. When they break, it's an absolute pain in the arse to rebuild them. Whereas if you just build like a rover that's just one grid with a drill on it or something like that, it's real easy to fix if it breaks. When you've got all these dozens of little subgrids, it's not easy to replace them and print them back up in any kind of automated way that's easy, rather than just sort of reprinting the whole thing and then going back into the control seat, going back into the controls, changing each thing, doing it one by one. It's a real nightmare. So you can make functional, like, utility drones, like miners and grinders and things like that. They're just a pain when they break. And until Keen allows us the ability to print subgrids from blueprints, it's always going to be a bit of a pain. Oh, hey Damon. Yes, I am very excited for the new update tomorrow. I can't bloody wait. Annoyingly, I've got a few real-life things I need to deal with tomorrow, so I won't be able to get to the update until sometime in the afternoon, but I am very excited to see what's going to be contained within it. Right, maybe we should do a little bit more planning in the shape before we go too far. I'd want that at least, and then... would we want... how high would that be for a ceiling? I want that to be a little bit higher. So maybe another block up. Put a bit of shape in it. And have a roof up there like that. And that way, yeah, we've got a bit of a gap for us. Got a bit of a boxier shape. Yeah, that looks nicer. Yeah, that looks better. Right, and then that could be something like that. Then we could have something like that along the outside edge. Ooh, I do want this armour colour though to be grey rather than rust. I want the components to be rusted. I want the armour to fit the rest of the colour scheme for this build. Oh, sorry, I didn't see all those messages. Do subgrids not blueprint well? Subgrids don't blueprint at all without plugins, as far as I'm aware. You can copy and paste blueprints with subgrids all day long. That's not a problem. But printing them from a projector is, you can only print one grid at a time from projectors, and to build a projector system to print something like this, you pretty much need one projector for each individual subgrid, and then build a system to put it all together. And yeah, it's... people have done it, seen plenty of videos of it. Black Armor's done a video of it, of his little mech factory, and a few other people have built mech factories, but they're really complicated. Oh, no worries, Dave, Matthew. I'm always happy to answer questions. What's that, Tony? Can you make an ore detector drone? You can make a mining drone, but an ore detector drone, the problem at the moment is... the problem with making AI blocks like that is you need something that can detect the parameters you're after, and something that can respond to it. And at the moment there isn't anything I could think of that an event controller could do that would be able to detect or because we're limited to these sets of parameters at the moment, and none of them really interact with the ore detector in that kind of way. Because the ore detector, essentially, from what I've seen of how the game works, it's just like an antenna. It's just detecting certain signals that the ore gives off. But there's no way to, like, discern an ore detector signal. Because that would be a cool idea. But yeah, I can't think of a way to do that. Because you can rig up, like, automatic drilling systems fairly well. Like, you could have something that... you can have something that, like, turns itself on and off when it gets too close to voxels, using sensors and things like that to make drills turn on and off and make AI and stuff turn on and off, but there's not much you can do with detecting signals from other things. There's lots of stuff you can do, relays, but again, none of them are really ore detector related. But one of the things I would like most in this game is more events in the event controller that it can respond to. I'd really like it if it could respond to wheels the same way it can respond to thrusters, because then you can make subgrid wheel setups a hell of a lot easier. Right, I've been rambling answering questions for about half an hour. Let's actually get these legs working. So let's set these up. Roll leg front left 01, copy all. Oh yeah, I've got them like that. We can do them in nice little rows as well, so I can have little vertical rows. I can make it look pretty. Or did I not even name that then? Ugh, what did I do then? Roll leg FL01. Try this again. Copy all. There we go. That's front left. Copy, paste. Oop, wrong one. At least now I have the right one selected. Alright, copy that. That'll be number 2. That one can be number 3. And then that one can be rear left. So, if I do the leg control setup there... ooh, I could potentially have another row of event controllers for the forward and backward. And other things. Yeah, I might do that. And this is why I like trying to put all of these control blocks somewhere where you can see them. Because then you can see everything ticking away while it's working. Whereas if you hide it all inside the body, you don't get to see all the pretty flashing lights and get to see all of your hard work in action. And then we'll try and figure out some kind of cockpit window thing so you can actually see out the front of the thing when it's moving. We'll get to that once we've got these legs working. First thing I always like to do when I'm building a mech is make sure I can actually get it walking first before I get carried away trying to make it look cool, because you could spend 20 hours building something sweet and then you find out that you've completely built the legs wrong and it's never going to move. And that has happened to me a couple of times. And you don't want that. Believe me, you don't want to spend days and days working on something just to find out that you screwed up the very, very basic bit at the start. Right, so that's rear right 2, and then that's rear right number 3. Right, that should be all of our leg controllers, all of our leg hinges, rotors, and lights. So, leg controls. Ooh, we've got lots of them. Could do most of this with a script, but it's not as interesting. That's something I'd also like to be able to do, is select multiple controllers and be able to change their parameters at the same time. Currently, you have to select each individual controller one at a time to set up things for it. So these are all going to be what's switched on and off. So do the first leg first. So these are all going to be triggered by leg lights. So that'll be number 1. Mouse. That will be number 2, and then that will be number 3. And so we want FL01. This one, for now, we are just going to get it to reverse and reverse. We can set it up with more precise controls later, and make it go kind of specific speeds. Unfortunately, the way the toolbar actions work on Space Engineers is a lot of the time with these increase and decrease things, they tend to just divide whatever their overall total is by 100%. So you end up with random weird increments that things increase by. Like small grid rotors and small grid hinges increase by 6 RPM in either direction with each one of these increased velocity actions. And that's alright, but when you're trying to make things a particular speed, jumping up in multiples of 6 isn't great, because you get to very high speeds quite quickly. It's another thing I'd like if they could give us the option to increase parameters in multiples of 1, 5 and 10, and then we can do basically any number we want pretty easily. But, so that's going to be that. FL02. This one will be those two reversing in unison. And then number 3 will be FL03, and that'll be that one, reversing and reversing. So now I can go to my toolbar with all of these millions of lights. They look confusing, but it's actually really easy. And for now, we just lay them out in little groups. 1, 2, 3, middle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's all the front legs. That's all the middle legs. And then we'll have... Where is it? Rear, left, 2, 3. And then right. Right, 2, and 3. Groovy. So back to that first page. So now we can move that first leg with the lights. So what will end up happening is I still need to build the feet, but the hip and the foot will move in unison with each other when they move back. And then when we move forward, it'll lift the leg, move forwards, drop back down, move backwards, lift up, move forwards, and do that kind of thing. So, quickly do the rest of the legs, get them all set up. So, block on and off, block on and off, block on and off, and we'll do leg light, front right, leg light, front right 0, 2, leg light, front right 0, 3. So FR01, reverse and reverse in the opposite slot. Number 2 is FR02, and for this one we reverse both of these hinges in opposite slots. And number 3, FR03, we reverse that one and reverse that one in the opposite side. So now we've got control of that one. And we need to do that 4 more times. Now you can condense all this stuff down into less controllers than I've got here. But you then need to start getting a little bit more creative about what parameters you're setting in all of these slots and what is interacting with what. That's kind of how the walk system on the mini walkers works. It's got a much more condensed down version that literally runs off one light, even though it's got the same amount of joints in the legs that these ones do. But because I've got the space and it's got more legs, I'm going to use all the controllers and make it a bit more easy for myself and less to think about. Because once these are all set up, it basically works like a set of binary commands. Getting the legs to do stuff is as simple as just turning the right lights on and off. Rather than having to think about what rotor's pointing in what direction and doing what thing at what time, you can just think about what lights you want to switch on and off. And if you set it up in a way that makes sense, you can have all the lights on being forwards and all the lights off being reverse, which is why I've set them all up like I have now. Right, so more of these then. ML01 leg light. ML02 leg light. There we go. ML03. And let's go through all these. What's that? MR01. And again, this is one of the reasons that I use all of these little tags and naming conventions for stuff, because it really helps to make all the chaos and all the crazy programming make a little bit more sense, and it makes it easier to refer to things as well. So rear left 01, leg light. Rear left 02, leg light. Rear left 03. Oh wait, there we are. And then, oop, that was the wrong button. That's the one. Rear right 01. And 2 more of them. And last leg light. Right, so rear right 03. Want to reverse that. And reverse that. Number 2, rear right 02. I'm going to do both of these once again, and we do them the opposite ways round in the 2 slots. Rear right 01, and reverse that, and reverse that. Rear left 03, reverse and reverse. 1, 2, reverse and reverse and reverse and reverse. Rear left 01, reverse and reverse. Quick double check some stuff. I did the right thing. No, I didn't. Typed in the wrong thing. I'm stupid. Rear left 02. Had an inkling, literally the second I've done it, that I've done the wrong thing. I'll check that real quick. And that's rear left. That's fine. That's rear left. That's fine. Middle right 03. You get to reverse and reverse. Yeah, cool. Mid right 02. Alright, we should only have a few more of these left to do, and then we can start actually building the walk cycle. So what's that? Mid right 01. Reverse and reverse. And then it should just be these 3, because we did all those, didn't we? Yeah. Cool, right. Mid left 01. Reverse and reverse. ML02. Reverse that, and then do it the opposite way round on that slot. And then, what was that? Mid left 03. Cool, right, so that should be all the things then. So we know that that side works, that side works, that side works, that works, that works, and I press the wrong button. Cool, right, all of our legs move. I might move the cockpit back a block, but while you're sat there, you'll be able to see all of those blinking away as they're doing things, which will be quite cool. Oh, are those ladders too close to get out the door like that? Typical. Typical. I'll block over then, won't I? That's not too bad. Oh yeah, I might have to change some settings on those legs to make them stop jiggling as much, but we can do that later. Right, we need feet. That's all going. Definitely need feet. What should we do for feet for now? Idea. Ooh, I know. You know what? For now, yeah, let's also paint those legs the colour that they're meant to be. The general thing I've been doing lately is making all of the control blocks, computer blocks, bits and pieces, greebling and all that kind of stuff one colour, and then armour blocks another colour. And then you kind of, a lot of the time, naturally end up with a sort of interesting looking colour scheme. Particularly when you're working in small grid and you've got stuff exposed as well a lot of the time. But anyway, feet. What am I going to do about feet? I want it to be able to grip the floor properly, so I might, for now, I might just go with a really basic foot setup like that. Yeah, you're all going to jiggle until I sort your grids out. Don't you worry. That's one of the issues of playing with lots and lots of subgrids, is you'll end up with jiggle. And that jiggle is being caused by the velocity, as far as I can tell anyway, it's been caused by the velocity trying to push at this force and trying to maintain these angles. As soon as you start taking the velocity out, they calm down. You see now that one stopped because it's not trying to push. But yeah, they occasionally just do weird stuff. It's just an issue with subgrids and the physics. And sometimes you have to play around with what has a shear inertia tensor on it and what doesn't. Because shear inertia tensor is one of the big things that helps fight one kind of wobble, but in its own way creates another kind of wobble. So it's a bit of a juggling act. Right. I'll have that for some suspension for now. Friction, we'll leave that at 50. Strength, we'll put that on 50. Power, we don't need any because we're not going to be driving with them. That I'm going to set to 0 so it's in the middle. And it's going to do that every time, but we'll sort that out in a minute. That gets to be suspension. Front left 0, 1, and I'm going to make all of them basically the same. And they'll all start jiggling again. Because to be honest, the legs on these, depending on the weight, might not actually need to have the inertia tensor on all of them. I'm going to turn that off for now. See what difference that makes. And I'll do that. See, it did a little bit of wobble and then it stopped. One of the things I hope they improve in Space Engineers 2 whenever that happens in the future. I really hope that the mechanical system, or whatever you want to call it, that they put into that game is at least as good as it is in this one, and preferably much better. Right. And that can be rear right. Yeah, I think I actually probably am going to end up needing that to be on. Stop, please. And stop fiddling. Thank you. Right. Right, before we go any further, let's just do a little quick test and see if that can support its own weight at the settings I've got it at now. That's a good sign. It can stand up without the legs drooping. Oh, but of course there's no battery on it, because the power was connected to that base. Yeah, just stick a couple batteries on it for a second. Yeah, so they grip the floor nicely. So that'll actually be able to propel itself. You can see it gripping the floor and pushing it back and forward. And it can stand up pretty well without any gyros at all. It's got a nice wide stance. Obviously, that's not going to tip over too easily. So that could be... Yeah, so that's easily accessible from the ground. Nope. Weird stuff going on with that ladder. No, I don't want to climb all the way up there. Ah, it's like... Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a pain in the arse, isn't it? Oh, I know what I can do. Yeah, I could do that idea later, but for now, that's fine. That stands up. What does it look like when we turn off, what is it, 6 and 2 on each of them? Crouch a little bit lower. Yeah, right, okay. Cool, so it's got some feet that grip the floor fairly well. It can stand up with the settings it's got. Right, so walk forward settings then. What do we need to do? We need more event controllers. But we'll need a forward. We'll need a return control and a reverse control, and I think I can get away with doing it like that. I have to make one for every single leg. I don't think so. I can do a forward. In theory, I can do a forward control for each side. So I can have a left-hand step and a right-hand step, because they're all going to be working in unison together. Yes. Yeah, I think so. Right, so let's put some legs into some positions and figure some stuff out. So we'd want that and that to be off, and we'd want that and that to be on. the next one, we'd want it to be the opposite way around. And then that one, we'd again want it to be the opposite of that, be that way around. And then all of the legs could move together. Yeah, so. Right, let's have a think about this then. So that's going to be controller, walk forward, left. So, copy the damn thing properly. Copy all. There we go. Now, so that can be the right hand side, and then that can be the wrong thing. Copy all of that. That will be that'll be return. That'll make the leg pick back up again when we need it to. Hopefully. Oh, actually, I might end up having to do it differently. But we'll see what we can do. There are all sorts of different ways you can program legs to do all kinds of different things. Right. So. Walk forward. That is going to look at what does it do? Right, so leg lights. Oh, hang on. First things first, block switched on and off. Leg light, front left. So we'll have this turn that same controller on. Respond to that same light turning on and off. And when it does, what it will do, we'll get the front set of legs working first. So we've got our FL0 lights. So that one we can ignore because that's already doing something. So when this light is going to turn off that light to pick the foot up, and it is going to turn on that light to make the bottom hinge move forward. So there you go, that'll do that. Oh yeah, that's what else we need to do. Walk forward, we need that to also turn off. Yeah, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Let's have a look at those leg hinges quickly. Oh, I should have done that. Oh well. Yeah, should have done them one by one. I just screwed a lot of stuff up. Cool. Right, let's turn all these back on then. We can figure out what's broken from there. There we go. Right, what have I smacked up? I have smacked up that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and pretty much most of them. Right, there you go. Everything's back to normal again. Oh, right, so... Where's that gone? Yeah, right, so we need the warp return. To respond to the angle change. Now, we can do this a couple of ways. So, what I'm thinking is I'll make it respond to the change in angle in that first joint in the knee and see how well that works. So it'll be FL02. We'll have a look at that one. So when that gets to all the way up to 90, so we'll call it greater than 89, give it a little bit of room. When it does that, it will FL02 turn that light back on. Do is put that back there, and then we can move forwards, and there you go. The leg will move forwards, get up there, return itself. And then we can just mess around with the leg speeds to get a nicer, more fluid kind of control setup. But that's the basic idea of how these legs are all going to move. So we might actually... Let's see what happens if we make that... What's that? They should be both the same. Make that minus 12, make it twice as quick. That's a little bit too quick for the speed that we've got the main rotor. We can make that a little bit quicker. Leg rotor front left, we'll make that, what about 8? And then the leg hinge on the foot, which is number 3, we'll have to make that the same. There you go, that's a bit more fluid. We just need to do that 5 more times. Cool. Alright, so... let's try and add the other legs. Oh, actually, we might end up not having enough slots to do all of that. Because we need to... Oh, actually, no, we should be alright, because we need to turn off... We need to do the same thing with this step. We need to do the same thing with the mid-right 02. That's going to be opposite. Then we'll need to do the same with the rear left. So we're going to have 3 sets of legs on opposite sides moving in unison with each other. Kind of thing. So we'll do the same thing with these lights. So we'll have mid-right 02 off. And mid-right 03 on and off. On and off. And then the return control, we should, because all these legs are exactly the same, we should just be able to put the mid-right 02 control light in there. So let's have a look. So we got that front leg there, and we've got this middle right one here. Oop, I did some things. Oh, I know what it's done. Yeah. I know what it's done. it's not moving the mid-right. Oh, hey, AJ. How are you doing, man? It's not moving the mid-right leg. So we need to flick that onto here as well. So mid-right 0, 1. If we stick that and that on the 2. There we go. So they now move in unison. I just need to adjust the settings on that middle leg. So that'll be part of it. So then the other one we would need is the rear left leg. So rear left 0, 2 needs to turn off. 0, 3 needs to turn on and off. And 0, 1 needs to turn on and off as well. There we go. That'll be one side of it. And we'll do the same thing with the other side. Oh, I also need to put the return control in here for the rear left 0, 2 light. That back like it was. Now we can do that. Yeah, cool. Right, so let's make those leg rotors the same speed. So what did we do? We did 8 with that, didn't we? So that would want to be -8, and that one would want to be 8. And then leg hinge, what did we do with the number 2? We made that 12, so I'll just do all of them while we're here. So that and that is going to be 12. That's, yeah, they're all set to -6 right now, aren't they? Yeah. I'll make sure before I break something again. Rear left 2 and rear left 2. Right, that's them, they're fine. So then all the 3s, what are they on? That's on 8. That's on 6. That'll be on 6. All the rest of the 3s will be on 6. So we can take all of them up to there. Put them on 8, and in theory, there you go. There we go. Right, so that'll be 1/2 of the walk cycle. And we just need to do the other side. Do the equal but opposite thing. So I'll quickly get that set up. And then it'll be, hopefully, that'll match up nicely with my half-time tea break. So, not angle change, block switched on and off. Front right 0, 1 leg light. So when that turns on and off, leg light R0. There we go, that's what we need for now. Oh, sorry, Aja. I am building a little APC type tank with legs. I wanted like a little people carrier thing. I've kind of put a reference on the base of where I want to put it. I've stuck some doors kind of in place. But yeah, I should probably catch up anyone that wasn't here at the beginning. Yeah, I'm building like a little APC tank with legs. Because I can't just do things with wheels, I have to put legs on them. Because I'm just like that. You all know what I'm like at this point. So that turns on and off, which will turn that off. It will then turn that one on and off. And then we need to do middle left one. So that'll be, let's keep it all in line, even though I've screwed it all up, or made it a bit messy. So that'll be that, that'll be that, and that'll be that. And then we'll go to rear right, and then that will be that, that, and that, and that, and that, I think, and that should be 8. We fill 8 slots with that one, we did indeed. So that is theoretically that. So we just need to copy this one, which is greater than, angle changed, greater than 89. That's right before the cut-off point for the leg. It will be, what hinge did we do? We did the front left knee, so we'll do the front FR02, do that knee. And then when it does that, it will, which one does it? Leg, light, 0, that's not how you spell light. So it will be front right. No, 02, isn't it? So that will turn back on. That will turn back on. And that will turn back on. And that should be the right hand side. Something's going the wrong speed there. Something's moving out of sync. Oh, what's going on there? Who's moving too slowly? Leg rotor. Did I not change them? No, I didn't. So -8. That's what it is. 8. That's already set up because we did it before. That's already set up because we did it before. And that one's -8. So that should now... There we go. That's nicer. So then we can just trigger those 2 front lights to get the walk cycle kind of working. We've got a little bit of lift. We can adjust some settings, tweak a few things. Well then now, just by switching that first light on and off, we can control 2 sets of legs separately. Then the next step is to make a timer, does that, and then the next step is to build a little system that will automate that for us. But I'm going to quickly go and get myself a cup of tea, and I will be back in a minute. Let's see if they want to behave nicely today, or whether they want to keep spamming. Whether they want. We've got our launch bays here. We can open them up. Yes, Adria, it is indeed tea time. You know what I'm like. I live off Earl Grey tea. I literally need it to survive. I can't live without it. Right, and then they will deploy. Well, the landing pads will raise up. And then swivel into place. A little bit wobbly. Not much I can do about that. And then we can release the drones. There we go. And we'll just wait for them to be stupid and sort their lives out and hopefully fly away. Or you're just being stupid. Oh, you guys have taken off. You guys got an idea of where you're going. What are you two doing? You two being soft. Oh, your battery's still on recharge. Oh. That's another thing I'd like. I'd like an actual on and off control for the recharge in the toolbar. So you don't have to rely on... God, just turn off. There you go. So you don't have to rely on a reverse command, because just using reverse commands can get a bit messy, and it causes problems. If you've got a specifically on and off switch, it's a lot easier to do things. Right. Enjoy watching the drone fly around for a minute. I'm going to go quickly get my cup of tea and we'll be back and make that APC walk around and do stuff. Because we need to make it turn as well. So, back in a minute, don't go anywhere.